Hello and welcome back to Intelligent Pod. I'm your host, Sophie Lane, and today we're diving into a topic that's been buzzing in scientific circles, wellness communities, and maybe even your own social feeds lately. Biohacking and how it's being used to optimize the human body. If you've ever wondered how you can feel sharper, stronger, or just better, you're in the right place. Biohacking, optimizing the human body, is our focus today. And whether you're a skeptic, a curious newcomer, or already tracking your macros and microdosing sunlight, I promise you'll walk away with fresh insights and actionable tips. Let's start by unpacking what biohacking actually means. The term can sound a little sci-fi, like you're about to install a microchip in your arm or upload your consciousness to the cloud. But at its core, biohacking is simply about making small, incremental changes to your lifestyle, diet, or environment to improve your body's performance. Think of it as DIY biology, tinkering with your habits and routines to feel your best. Some people picture biohackers as folks injecting themselves with experimental substances, but for most of us, it's a lot more approachable. Intermittent fasting, taking certain supplements, tracking your sleep with a wearable device. These are all forms of biohacking. The goal? To optimize aspects like focus, energy, longevity, and even mood. Let's ground this in some real-world context. According to a 2022 survey by the Pew Research Center, nearly 35% of Americans have tried at least one form of biohacking, whether that's a special diet, a nootropic supplement, or even just using a standing desk. Globally, the biohacking market is projected to hit almost $64 billion by 2028, which just shows how mainstream this once niche movement is becoming. But why the surge in interest? Well, our modern world is filled with stressors. Long hours at the computer, less than ideal diets, blue light everywhere, and a culture that celebrates productivity. It's no wonder people are searching for ways to get an edge or just restore balance. Let's explore biohacking through a few different lenses, starting with the psychological perspective. Why are people drawn to this idea of optimizing themselves? Psychologists suggest it taps into two big motivators: autonomy and self-efficacy. In an age where so much feels out of our control, biohacking gives us tangible tools to take charge of our own well-being. A fascinating study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology in 2021 found that people engaged in self-tracking activities, think food diaries, sleep apps, or wearable fitness trackers, reported higher feelings of agency in their daily lives. It's that sense of I'm in the driver's seat, which can be incredibly empowering. But of course, there's a flip side. The quest for optimization can sometimes tip into anxiety or perfectionism. If you've ever felt guilty for not hitting your step goal or skipping a supplement, you'll know what I mean. It's a reminder that biohacking, like any tool, should serve us, not control us. Now, let's look at the scientific side. Biohacking covers a huge spectrum, from benign tweaks like cold showers or blue light blocking glasses to more experimental interventions. Some of the most popular scientifically supported hacks include intermittent fasting, which has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and cellular repair, and consistent sleep routines, which optimize everything from memory to immune function. One of the most robust studies on intermittent fasting was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2019. It showed that time-restricted feeding, not eating for 14 to 16 hours a day, can support weight loss, reduce inflammation, and even enhance brain health. But, and this is important, the study also emphasized that fasting isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Factors like age, medical history, and lifestyle play a huge role in how effective or safe a particular hack might be. On the more experimental end, there's the use of nootropics, substances intended to boost cognitive function. While caffeine is the world's most popular nootropic, others like L-theanine or modafinil are gaining traction. The science is still catching up, so anyone exploring these should proceed with caution and ideally consult a healthcare professional. Let's shift gears and look at the cultural perspective. Biohacking isn't new. Ancient practices like yoga, meditation, or herbal remedies were essentially early forms of biohacking, long before the word existed. What's different now is that technology allows us to track, measure, and tweak our biology in ways our ancestors could only dream of. There's also an interesting cultural divide. In Silicon Valley, biohacking can look like cryotherapy chambers and expensive wearables. In other communities, it might be as simple as community fasting or using local herbs. The motivations and methods vary, but the underlying desire is the same: to live better, longer, and with more vitality. Let me share a real-life anecdote that I think captures both the promise and the pitfalls of biohacking. A friend of mine, let's call him Marcus, got really into optimizing his sleep. He invested in blackout curtains, a cooling mattress, and a top-of-the-line sleep tracker. For a while, his sleep improved dramatically. He had more energy, better mood, the whole package. But then, he became so focused on his sleep score that he started feeling stressed if he didn't hit a perfect number. Ironically, his sleep got worse. Marcus's experience is a perfect reminder. Biohacking works best when it enhances your life, not when it becomes a source of stress. So, how can you harness the power of biohacking in a healthy, sustainable way? Here are some actionable tips you can start with. No lab coat required. First, pick just one area to focus on. Maybe you want more energy, better focus, or improved sleep. Choose one goal and select a small change to try. For energy, you could experiment with a morning walk or swapping your afternoon coffee for green tea. For focus, try a digital detox for 30 minutes a day. For sleep, set a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Second, track your progress, but gently. Use a journal or an app if it helps, but remember that these are just tools. The real measure of success is how you feel, not what your device says. Third, stay curious but skeptical. Not every hack is backed by science, and what works for someone else might not work for you. If you're considering supplements or more experimental interventions, talk to a medical professional first. Fourth, don't underestimate the classics: regular exercise, nutritious food, quality sleep, and meaningful social connections are some of the most powerful biohacks available, and they're free. And finally, cultivate a sense of playfulness about the process. Think of yourself as an explorer, not a perfectionist. Experiment, observe, and adjust. The goal isn't to become a superhuman. It's to feel more alive and engaged in your own life. Let's recap the main idea of today's episode. Biohacking is about optimizing the human body through small, intentional changes. Sometimes with the help of technology, sometimes with time-tested habits. Whether you approach it psychologically, scientifically, or culturally, the key is to use these tools to serve your well-being, not to become a slave to numbers or trends. I'll leave you with a reflective thought. The most profound hack might just be listening to your own body, tuning in rather than tuning out. In a world buzzing with advice, sometimes your own intuition is the most intelligent guide of all. Thank you for spending part of your day with me on Intelligent Pod. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you left a review. It really helps others discover the show. For show notes and more resources, head to intelligentpod.com. And if you have questions, stories, or feedback, email me anytime at sophie@intelligentpod.com. I love hearing from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, you are your own best experiment. Take care.